Hello and welcome back to the game room. You know what I love? Video games. You know what I love? Talking about games. And it seems like a lot of people these days who cover games seem to hate them. Or at least the people who play them. Well, that's not me, and that's not the 4,703 of you beautiful people checking out this video here today. We have made a new milestone, 4,700. Under 300 subs away until 5,000. Blown away, guys. Thank you so much. We are back on the breadwinner of this channel, which is the Xbox 360. I know it's been a while since we talked about it, but it is there. Though I will admit, I have slowed down because, I've done, 42 of these now? So there's only so many of these games left on the 360 I'm even still needing or interested in. We do have some more here from the patron saint of the channel, Mr. Mike from Lake Oswego as well. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's check it out. There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. My name's Luke. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life.
This is my game room.
Alright, so the first game we're going to talk about today is the most collectible one we have. I have spoken about it before on games I missed the boat on, though luckily there's been a dip on 360 prices, so I have been grabbing a lot of the collectible games, and this is chiefly one of them, and that is Ryden Fighters Aces. So this, I believe, has 3 arcade conversions for the 360. I'm not sure if any of these are available anywhere else, because it's Ryden Fighters, Ryden Fighters 2, and then Ryden Fighters Jet. And I believe Ryden Fighters Jet is truly exclusive, though correct me in the comments. I'm not the hugest fan of vertical and horizontal shooters, though I do enjoy them, and I've been getting more and more into them as recent years have gone on. I went through, tried all 3 games, didn't get super far into any of them. They're all vertical shooters, and they're all really cool, as well as one of the unique things with Ryden is that it allows you to choose from multiple different ship types. So I would imagine that depending on which ship you pick, you get different power-ups throughout the game, and then when your ship is exploded, all of your power-ups spread out, and when you come back to life, you can come grab them back. Now, it's sort of I would imagine it's sort of a Sonic in, losing your rings. You'll never get all of them back, but you'll get at least a reasonable facsimile so that you can get back into the fight and not be completely useless. All 3 games, to my untrained eye, played very similarly. I couldn't tell you there was a difference between them, but they were all very fun and just good vertical shooter time. And in my opinion, I've played Ryden 4 on the 360 and I enjoyed these games more. So I'm understanding why this one's more desirable, more collectible, but also why it flew under the radar, as it really is just arcade conversions. So it even cuts the screen, so it doesn't fill up the entire screen. You have bars on it. I don't mind that at all. Something to be aware of. I know not everyone cares for those older looking graphics, want something more modern looking. Maybe get Ryden 4 if that's for you, but this one definitely appeals to me and my retro gamer heart. Now moving on, this will be the first one we're talking about from my man Mike from Lake Oswego. So this was another game he donated, which I thought was interesting because it says on it not packaged for individual sale, and it was saran wrapped like it was brand new. And that is Fable Anniversary, which he accidentally sent me 2 copies of this. Looking into it, the reason why it has that little blurb is that when you would buy the bundles, the console bundles, if they came with a game, they would have this on it. So it's kind of the Xbox 360's not for resale on the back. It says not packaged for individual sale. I'm imagining that's how this game came across. And I've not played any of the Fables. I have had Fable 3 in my collection for years because I found it at a thrift store for $3, maybe 8-9 years ago. But I've never played any of them. And I believe Fable was one of the premier Xbox licenses. It originally came out on the original Xbox, and for years they've talked about a sequel that just happened, and then when the sequel was announced again, it was the whole controversy with the main character. I think it's still coming out, but this is a game that is a remake of the original. So it's a remake of the one on the Xbox, but for the Xbox 360. It's called Anniversary. I think there's a little bit new for it. And one of the cool things for me that's kind of a blast from the past is booting the game up. It has a direct ad for something called Microsoft Glass, which I don't know if you guys remember this. It was one of the first phone apps that would tie into gaming. And this came out, I want to say in 2012, 13-ish. I remember signing up for it right around the end of the 360's lifespan and the beginning of the Xbox One. It was never all that great, to be honest. I didn't get much use out of it whatsoever, but it was a blast from the past, and I think it's even still out there. It was supposed to be this cool interactive thing that now, who knows, Nintendo's doing it with the Switch 2, with the ability to use GPS in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. We'll see. But yeah, the Microsoft Glass never really panned out. But as far as the game goes, like I said, I've never played any of the Fables. You start off as a young man in a town. Quickly you learn that there is a good deed and a bad deed system, and then all hell breaks loose. You are some mythical hero. You go into this area where you're found by wizards, and then you have the chance to progress through the years and train, and then there you go. Combat's an action combat style. You got a little bit of different selections, this and that. It's very much a console RPG, but it feels good. You know, we're going to talk about a few console RPGs this time. This one, I could understand why it's so well remembered. It has... When you've played as many games as I have, when you pick up a controller and start controlling the character, there's a certain feel of just confidence in controlling the character where you understand, okay, especially in these games, like when I went to BioShock and feeling the controls in that, like, you're not going to hear someone speaking of a legendary game and then you pick it up and it feels like something like the Cursed Crusade or the First Templar, which those are fun, don't get me wrong, but in order to garner mass appeal, in my opinion, you have to have not so much jank, unless somehow you're Bethesda with Oblivion, Fallout, all that. But Fable, interesting story. I did not get very far. I did not get very far in many of these games, guys, but it just gave me an idea of where it was going, and more than probably most of the games I played this week, that was one where it's like, yeah, this one's definitely the cream of the crop. I can see why people like it. Speaking of a game that is jank city for a console RPG, that would be Two Worlds. And I've avoided this game for quite some time. It's like a $5-6 game. The only thing I ever knew about it was that Pro Jared did a video on it, and then he did a video on the sequel saying he didn't like the sequel. So I thought this game was going to be good going into it, and I couldn't have been more wrong. This game feels like a PC game that has a lazy port on console, and you feel it. Now, there's a certain amount of nostalgia that comes with that for me because it's around the same iteration of classic vanilla WoW, and clearly these people were inspired by that look and feel. So I'm drawn in by this. You know, it's that mid-2000s Oblivion WoW RPG-ish. Not so far progressed as Skyrim, but that kind of freedom in it. I think Kingdoms of Amalur felt like this a little bit, but far more polished. This reminds me more of Venetica, but even worse. You have the ability to choose, male or female. You're thrown into this world, but I, for the life of me, can't tell you what the storyline was going. You have this girl with you that gets kidnapped by some big ghost guy, and then you're just dropped into the world, and you're having to start doing quests for people. And you go and you attack the enemies. And I put this on easy mode just because once again, this is a game that's probably hundreds of hours, or at least 20, 40 hours. I put it on easy mode, and I'm still getting my ass kicked by the little boars and the little wolves and having to run for my life. You have these little kind of cross things that will permanently increase, like restore your health or restore your mana. So I found the best way was to get enemies, run to those things, and then perpetually get mana where I could throw fire, or I could heal myself while I'm slashing them. There's not much impact with the weaponry. There's no sort of you feel very, very underleveled. Now I'm at the beginning of this game, and maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But yeah, if you do not like jank, stay far, far away from this one. Though I will say some of it did appeal to me. I do have Two Worlds 2. We'll see if we get to that one in a future video. But as far as this one goes, there's a reason why you can find it so cheap. I would recommend far more games other than that one, but if you truly have nothing to do, that might be one that you can get into. Moving on from that, I was unaware that Konami had compilations on the 360 until pretty recently, but there's two of them, and one of them I kind of had everything on it, as well as it didn't really appeal to me, but the other one, especially with the arcade store going down, I wanted to pick up, and that was Konami Classics Volume 2. And this comes with the arcade version of Contra, the arcade version of Russian Attack, and then, to a lesser extent, the arcade version of Track and Field. All three of these games are very, very sufficient on the NES, especially Contra. These are not them. So I know a lot of you guys are fans of kind of Contra, old school, but did you know that it had an arcade version that is surprisingly worse? You don't see that happen too often. Usually the arcade versions of games, especially in the NES, Super NES era, were better, if not comparable, but you would have outliers every so often where they actually did it better on the console. And by far and away, the NES version of Contra is way better. Even though the sprites are bigger in this, it just has a weird feel to it, if you know what I mean. And it looks not as vibrant. It has a little bit less... Just a little bit less, you can get on the, I don't know, I didn't like it very much. Russian Attack's decent enough on the NES, but the arcade version's pretty damn fun as well. And then Track and Field, oh my god, it's brutal on the NES, and it is brutal here in the arcade. And if you lose an event, it's game over. So if you want to see all the events, you need to get it right, and I could not get past the long jump. But another fun one to have in the collection, one of those obscure compilations, and I probably will end up getting Volume 1, just because it would be nice to have a physical copy of Symphony of the Night on the 360 as well. Alright, now here's one where we got hoodwinked a little bit. So this was another donation from Mike. It was Dirt 3, the Complete Edition. And what makes the Complete Edition so nice is obviously in the title, it is complete. All the DLC is on disc. Once again, I'm going to be doing more videos about DLC on disc games. This is one of them. Not my typical type of game. I'm not a huge fan of racing games. This one's more in line with off-road racing, though it froze on me the first time I played it. Game controlled fine. I thought it was a decent enough racer, better than some of the other ones I've felt. A lot more arcade feel than simulation, which I appreciate. And one of those ones where, yeah, I could see myself playing some of this more so with friends or just having a good time going around doing the different events. Though some of the events were strange. Some of them were having you do almost an obstacle course. I wanted to stick to the races. I like the races more on that game, and glad to have it in the collection. Thank you again, my friend. Alright, now here's one I was going to do, and I might still do a video about games that are on the 360 that I had no idea were on the 360. And this is one of the ones that kind of, I don't know if I'd seen it before or people talk about it, but I was shocked when I realized, wow, that's on the 360, and it also never had a standard release. It came out on the 360 as a platinum hit seller, and that is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Did you guys know this? I did not know this came out on the 360. I played the hell out of it on the PS2 and loved it. It was one of probably my last hurrah games on the PS2 going into college when it came out, because I think it came out the summer going into college for myself. And I absolutely loved it. I did not know it came on the 360. No one talks about it, as well as I did not know it came as a platinum hits version. But popping it in, it is San Andreas on the 360. And with everyone complaining about the laziness of the remaster, if you want, probably the best way to play this now would be on the 360. I got through the opening of the game. Yeah, the visuals are pretty damn ugly. They didn't do any sort of remastering. I remember seeing CJ and thinking to myself, whoa, I don't remember him looking like this, but the story is very gripping. If you've seen movies like Friday, Boys in the Hood, that kind of thing, like you are a gang in LA going up against the Ballers and the, what are the other guys are called? And it's fun. It introduced bikes into the Grand Theft Auto series, and it's just all around, the nostalgia was flooding me just popping the game, and I played a lot of San Andreas. Eventually, I did get over it, but it was just nice to revisit it, and if you guys are looking for a decent way to play it, I love the Xbox 360 controller. I know there's better ways to play it now, but just for an oddity on the 360, San Andreas is on the 360. How crazy is that? All right, this is a weird one. I mentioned this in my games that I had for PS3 that I wish I had for 360. Shortly after that video came out, I did go and purchase this on the 360, and that is Resonance of Fate. Now, this is made by Tri-Ace, which I believe are the people who either made... I always confuse, it's either Tales of Fantasia or Star Ocean. I think it's Tales of Fantasia. And it shows. In this game, it is kind of turn-based, kind of not. You have a squad of 3 people that use a lot of gunplay. They either have a machine gun or a direct weapon. The machine gun does more damage. The direct weapon will execute them. And then everyone sort of moves in real time. To be honest, I got lost. Like, this is the type of game where you can't just be playing it for an hour to expect to know what the hell's going on. I could not understand any of it. I could not figure out. I mean, I won the battle, but I'm getting attacked left and right by the other enemies. I see the crosshair go full, and then that allows me to attack. But I was intrigued by it. I definitely was intrigued by it. But I also had no idea how to move on the world map. It's a grid system, and you're supposed to go to the next area. I moved around this in circles until I eventually ran into a fight. Who knows? But if you're looking for something incredibly weird that's a little bit turn-based with a little bit active combat, this is one to keep an eye out for. I know my buddy Avalanche Jared highly recommends it, and it's one that I'm just glad to have in the collection. I did not do justice to this game at all. When I played it, I did not understand it at all, but now that I have played it, I can understand why it was not popular, because my goodness, jumping into it blind without paying much attention, yeah, you get your ass handed to you pretty damn quickly. I've not played anything else remotely close to this, so that's probably part of the problem as well, is that it is very unique, but something that I think, based on what people who do like it have said, it's well worth investing the time to get good at how it plays. All right, we're just going to talk about this one just to fill in some time, and also one that I picked up recently, and just to let you know what it's like, and that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Can you believe I never bought this when it was current? I bought every Call of Duty around it. I had Modern Warfare, the first one, World at War, Black Ops, and then I got Modern Warfare 3. I don't remember exactly how they went out, but this one was one that was very, very good when it came out, but it disappointed me to no end because it set it on a co-op mode, and then when I played it, the co-op mode were kind of strike missions and not the actual campaign, and that just completely made me not interested in it. And then playing the game, there is an entire tutorial section which doesn't take too much time to get through, but man, did I just want to jump into the gameplay like I've done in some of the other Call of Duties. But it's legendary, not gonna lie, and that's just another one. It's like $5. How do you not have it? I picked it up very recently, but it's still cheap. Just throwing in some fillers, yeah, like, okay, I've talked about that game. I've talked about most of the Call of Duties now, or at least most of the ones I have. All right, this is a game that was an early release on the 360, and what's fun going through this series is when you play some of the earlier releases on the 360, there's unique usages of the 360 controller. This is, 2006, 2007, before there's everyone was just doing the same exact thing, or 2008 even. Like, once you get to a certain point on the 360, once Gears of War, Call of Duty, all these games become so popular, the first-person shooter always controls the same way. It's like getting in a car. You always know, you turn the ignition, you push the button, it goes, you put it in gear, it goes. Like, there's no using the left hand to steer and the right hand. Like, that doesn't happen. Well, that game is Alone in the Dark. So it's another legendary series that has completely fallen off. All of the games since the originals really have not done too much, and this is one that's also, sadly, perpetuating that stereotype. And after playing the beginning of it, and it being so grueling and annoying, I did not want to play any more of it. The first thing they introduce is a really stupid mechanic where your vision blurs, and you have to constantly keep blinking by pushing in, I think it was the right stick, to clear your vision. Okay, doing this 2 or 3 times is okay, but going through an entire section of the game for a good 4 or 5 minutes where that's constantly having to happen, and in the cutscene constantly having to happen, I was so over it. I could not care. I did not even want to play that. Like, this is terrible. Later in the beginning, there's a part where you have to break a door down with a fire extinguisher, and you have to flick the right stick. This is like the second or third game where I've seen they try to use the right thumbstick in unconventional, weird ways. I appreciate them trying, but man, I'm so hardwired by, the last 20 years of gaming not doing that it always is very frustrating and annoying when it does come up. So it's kind of like, what am I saying? I like it when the games have unique gameplay, but then when it has unique gameplay, it can be annoying. Well, this one was very, very annoying. I appreciate them trying, but man, I would rather just hit a button to knock the damn door down instead of having to heave ho, heave ho. But yeah, it was cool they tried it. You're spending the beginning going through a building that's getting destroyed. Now, I don't know too much about the series, but it seems like there's this entity that's chasing you. You can see it, but others can't. And then I don't know, but it just, the gameplay and the presentation of it turned me off so much on a game that may have been interesting, but it was just such a slog to play that it's another one that I'd say I can't recommend it. If you are a fan of horror games, there's a reason why this one has not spiked. I think it's still like $10 to $15 because it's hard to get through. But let me know if any of you ever played it, beaten it. Does it get better? Because man, was it rough to start. All right, then the last game we're going to talk about, I have not mentioned any of the games in this series, and this is one that I played as part of Xbox Games with Gold. I enjoyed it, but it definitely was not without flaws, and that is Dead Rising 2. So this is a game that has a timer in it. So you're in a mall. It takes place, I think it's connected to the first one, but loosely so. The first one, I think you're a photographer in this game. You're not. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a while since I played this game. And you go into the mall and you can rescue different survivors. There's a time limit as far as how long you can be in the mall. So it's got replay value in that regard, as well as there are timed events that will happen at the same time where you can rescue someone on this side, but then you can't rescue someone on the other side, and vice versa. As well as it's known for the halls and halls of easy to kill zombies, very similar to a Dynasty Warriors type thing, though not so easy that you can just run all haphazard in it. And just, as someone who loves Dawn of the Dead, the original and the remake, but especially the original, this game definitely appeals to me. I was never too on board with the weapon creation, getting all those crazy, chainsaws on a stick and all that kind of thing. But it does hold your attention. It is an interesting place. It is an interesting theme. And there's a reason why it is so popular and they've had so many sequels. I did eventually pick up Dead Rising 3 because it was one of the only exclusive games on the Xbox One for a while, and I enjoyed that too, though 2 was probably a better experience even though I played more of 3. And there you have it, guys. There are another 10 games you should immediately go out and spend all your money on the Xbox 360. Thank you guys as all. This has been an interesting week. The Switch 2 pre-orders were a complete fiasco. I stayed up not able to get one. I also had some horrible news this week too. I am getting laid off from my job. So yeah, the idea of buying a computer is going to get put on the back burner. That was a little shocking. So yeah, still all right, hanging in there. I'm trying to keep positive. But yes, thank you guys for watching the videos, and sorry if my expense, I had already pre-ordered the Switch 2, so we might be canceling that. I don't know. I did get one. As well as Claire Obscura came out, which was a game that is blown up in such a good way. As someone who loves turn-based RPGs, I was really looking forward to playing it, and then I did not get it on launch day, and so I was going to go pick it up physically because my Amazon shipment didn't show until May 10th, and then there's none in my area. So I'm glad to hear people are enjoying it. I have not played it yet, but it does look good. But let me know what you guys, if you've played it, what you think. Let me know if you got a Switch too. And yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for your time. It's been so nice getting a hold of you. Take care.